Yo, what's up, guys? Today is awesome because it's Friday, but it's also awesome because we're doing time zones part 2 around the world. Here you go. So, the rules for the United States are the same as the rules for everywhere around the world. All these countries, they all have time zones. Everywhere else in the world, they still have time zones. Just like I showed you in the video yesterday, they're broken up by every 15 degrees of longitude. Just like you can see here. 15 degrees, everyone changes. And the rules are still the same. When you go to the east, you increase. As you can see on this map, it says 0, +1, +2, +3 as we move to the east. If you're going to the west, then you get less, -1, -2, -3, so on and so forth. So, what I want you guys to do is practice a little bit with this, not just in the US, but also around the world. So let's say we started in New Orleans, right here, and then we went to Brazil, down here. What would I do? I'm still using the exact same rules. In New Orleans, right here, let's say it's 6 o'clock. In Brazil, I cross 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines to get there. I went to the east, so I increased. 6 + 1, 2, 3 gives me 9 o'clock. It would be 9 o'clock in Brazil. If, on the other hand, we went to Alaska, 6 o'clock here, I'm going to the west, so I get less. 6, 5, 4, 3. And you can see how here the lines get really weird. Every time you see one single color here, that means it's still stuck in the same time zone. Those time zones are jagged because they wanted all of Alaska to have its own time zone. Because if one person lives in Alaska on this side of the state and one person lives on that side, they wanted them to have the exact same time. So even though it looks like you should have to cross 4 lines to get to Alaska, you really only have to cross 3. So 6 o'clock, 5, 4, 3, and there it is, still in that line. So it's 3 o'clock in Alaska if it's 6 o'clock in New Orleans. Try some on your own. And the coolest thing is a line called the International Date Line. You may have seen it on the other map, which is right here. You've got this dotted line right there. That's the International Date Line. The International Date Line exists because if you keep going around and keep subtracting and keep adding, eventually you'd have to hit 0. And so you'd have to get to a point where the date has to change. But the rules for the International Date Line are backwards. When you go east, you go back 1 day, and when you go west, or east this way, back 1 day. When you go west, you go forward 1 day. So, for example, let's say you're in American Samoa and you're going to Tonga. If it were August 8th in American Samoa, and then I went west, I would go forward 1 day, so it would be August 9th. Let's go the other way. If it were September 3rd in Tonga, then it would be September 2nd in American Samoa. So even though I went east, I still went back 1 day because that's the rule for the International Date Line. That's why it's there. So I want you to try some on your own. Check out a couple of these questions.